How much did you sell the company for?
82 million, all cash. Me and my wife started the company from our kitchen table.
So you're at 10, 11, 12 million of revenue, 50 people, $240,000 of revenue per employee.
I built a really nice viral loop. We found that if we got 2 or 3 reviews on a profile, the page would start to do really well. I had some big competitors in reviews, like well-financed, VC-backed companies. And I truly believe that we did well against them, against these well-funded companies.
And how many folks were full-time when you exited?
About 50, and we was growing pretty fast, to be honest, at that time.
To be clear, you and your wife owned 100% equity.
100%.
Hey folks, my guest today is Callum McKeefery. He built and sold bootstrapped, I should mention, reviews.io for $82 million cash. He's now working on a company called partner.io. Callum, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So let's give the audience sort of a hook here, and then we'll go back and teach everyone sort of how you did it. So the end of the story is you sold the company, right? So how much did you sell the company for? Was it all cash?
82 million, all cash. I've got a couple of shares still in Outpub with Clearer.io now. And I'm still a board member of that. I wanted a clean deal. I don't know if you know my backstory. I've got a son who's pretty poorly. He's disabled. He's got a really rare genetic disease. And I really wanted to add a bit of security. I wanted to spend a bit of time with him. And the offer came in at the right time. Any other time, probably in my career, I probably wouldn't have taken that offer because I truly loved what I was doing at reviews. And I think I still had a lot more to give to the company, but I had to think about my family emotionally.
And we'll loop back to all that. I did pick that up in your research. That was a main driver of you doing the deal in the first place was your son. So we'll pick back up to that. Before we go back and get sort of the full story, so 82 million all cash was the exit price. And what was revenue at that point in time? Monthly recurring revenue time is 12, the ARR.
ARR was about 11 to 12 mil at the time, pure nice ARR, really clean stuff. All through Stripe. Probably, yeah, about 12. I'd say about 12 and a bit change.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it was. We built the business to be really clean business itself. Our cap table was as small as it could be. It was near my wife. Me and my wife started the company from our kitchen table, and we did it through pure grit, determination, and long hours.
To be clear, you and your wife owned 100% equity at sale.
100%. Yeah, I had this. There was a few people in the company who would help me along the way, and they got really big earnouts, but it was only really from me saying, hey, I want to make sure you get a big earnout out of this, rather than it being actually formally in a contract.
This is against conventional wisdom. Most folks listening say, wait, Nathan, I thought you're supposed to create an employee stock option pool, and that's the way you get really good talent is you give them equity. You did the opposite. Why?
I didn't need to. That was the thing. You do what you need to do. I actually found really, really talented people without doing that who believed in me. And doing that, I felt would have slowed me down and would have made the deal much more complicated to do the sale. So I was just really honest. I mean, some of my team members got over $1 million earnout off this. Some people got way more than that, and some people got a little bit less. But I did try and make sure that everyone was brought along from the journey, and I kind of kept my promise to everybody that, hey, if this works, I'm going to change your life. And I did it. Everybody trusted me, and it worked out, thankfully.
And how many folks were full-time when you exited?
It was about 50. It was about 50. Growing, yeah. And we was growing pretty fast, to be honest, at that time. Tom was adding staff every week where I'd forget their names. And yeah, I think from starting to do the deal to end to do the deal, I think we'd added another 10 staff by then.
So you're at 10, 11, 12 million of revenue, 50 people, $240,000 of revenue per employee. No employees own stock when you exited, but you made many of them millionaires. You just told me when you did exit based off sort of your choosing. How many did you make millionaires?
More than probably looking back, I should have done. I don't know. I was so happy to do it. These people had helped me on my journey, and they were part of my family and my team. And I appreciated all of them so much. And I wanted them to had the part of that success. It wasn't just me,
How
although on paper it was just
how'd you decide? Was it just simply who was there the longest, or how'd you decide?
yeah, who was their longest and contribution. So my CTO, he was like our fourth employee. But Tom was a catalyst. We'd already had product market fit when Tom came in, and Tom really helped us reach those bigger numbers later on.
All right, let's get the backstory here. So I want everyone to see what you are today, right? We're recording this in 2025. You sold the business,
Yeah.
3 years ago. So just to be clear, Callum, are you influencing this website design today, or are you totally checked out of the business at this point?
That website there is I am pretty much checks out. I am on the board, so I do handle direction from above. Um, that website pretty much hasn't changed that much. It's got a little bit fancier, a few more moving things on there. The guy who designed that website was actually he's been an employee of reviews. I think he was number 5. He came in at number 5. Don, he's an amazing guy, amazing designer, and me and him work really close together, and we taught each other so much about design and
So right here, we love going back to the Wayback Machine, the website popped up back in 2014 when you launched. Again, you built it for a while. And in the early days,
it's
we go to a 2015 screenshot. This is what it looked like. So what was the V1 here? What am I looking at?
oh my gosh, I don't even know that version. Um, the V1 of reviews was I came from a background of technology reviews, like tech, with a
Talking
company
about
called
villas.com?
no, unbeatable.com. It's not on there. I don't know why it should be. It was part of Liquid New Media. So unbeatable.com was kind of like a CNET type thing. And it did tech reviews, but also was a price comparison website. Part of Unbeatable was that companies would get reviewed on there as well. And that was a bit that I saw as growth. So I actually bought the domain name while playing golf one day, like 10 years before I launched reviews.io, which was reviews.co.uk at the time. But I bought the domain name while playing golf, and it was quite a funny deal. The idea was that it'd be me writing reviews, reviewing technology, reviewing televisions, reviewing cameras, all the CNET stuff, the stuff that you go and see at CES. And then when I did Unbeatable, I noticed that actually consumers were writing a lot of these reviews, and they were better than what I was writing. And we kind of doubled down on that, and that was what took me into the review space. What got me in further was that I think it was really early on, I got sued by a company not removing genuine reviews. And this company sued me for £250,000. I really didn't have the money at the time. And it made me really go a lot deeper into reviews, and it got stuck in my head. And that was the catalyst to launch reviews.io, what became reviews.io. And we really bootstrapped it from the kitchen table. There was nothing. There wasn't the tools that you can get now, the dashboards and the frameworks and AI to help you do it. It was really brute force. We had a couple of clients take a chance on us in the UK, and we grew from the UK. Really, that's how we did it.
Guys, remember, I am not just a YouTuber. I'm investing into my third fund. We've deployed $250 million into 550 software companies so far. Again, at founderpath.com. If you're interested in capital, I would love to cut you a check because I know you're investing in your education. You watch my show. So sign up at founderpath.com. And when you get the onboarding email, I reply and I see all those. Just reply and say, Nathan, I found you through YouTube, and I'll make sure to prioritize you. I would love to cut you a check. Check out founderpath.com. So Callum, just to pull the story forward here, with the website and the concept we see on our screen right now, your 2014, 2015 version, did you pass $1 million of annual revenue with this concept or no?
No, no. If you go a little bit further on, or if you go 2022, we'd already blown up by then. 2022, we were doing 10 million or more.
Okay, so you
More
basically,
than that.
I guess, give me the quick quote here. You went from repeat this, I guess, if it's true. You went from about 500,000 of revenue in 2017 to 5 years later doing 10 million of revenue. Is that about right?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
Oh, okay. So take us into the growth tactics there, right? What happened? I mean, based off the digital footprint you've left, it looks like you invested significantly starting in late 2021 in SEO just by how much you're being indexed by the Wayback Machine. You also have very, very high domain rating, which really, I mean, you popped that back in 2016, but then you further optimized it, it looked like in this 2018 onward period. What were your top growth channels in 2018, 2019?
I built a really, really, really nice viral loop to reviews.io. So literally, the more clients we got, the more powerful the brand became. because we were collecting more reviews, more content. It was getting fresher every day.
Break that viral loop down for me, because a lot of people think viral loop is all about like, I can't do a viral loop because I'm not a document signing tool. There's not two people for every one thing, right? So how did you actually mathematically and psychologically engineer one user turning into three?
So one user turning into three. So we'd look at a niche. So one of our niches was car parts. So we went and won Euro Car Parts, which is a big European car part retailer. Um, and then we'd win that client, we'd get our brand on their website. We'd now go and speak to the other people in that industry. So we'd go and speak to GSF, and we'd try and win 3 or 4 in each industry. And that was how we won the clients. But the clients really weren't where we were focusing. At that point, we're not focusing on the clients. We're focusing on getting footprint. So when we won Euro Car Parts, we wanted to collect as many reviews for that company as possible, and that'd get as many eyeballs on the reviews that I own name as possible, and then the revenue would come. So generally, once we collected, say, thousands of reviews, I mean, look, we collected 57,000 reviews for GSF there. Once we collected a huge amount of reviews, other people in the car industry like, these are doing amazing. They're doing amazing things with the reviews. Let's give them a call. So as we won one client and did amazing, help them collect the reviews at the right time, so they got really high conversion, collect really good looking reviews with photos, really good content. That would really power that flywheel to get more
But
clients.
Callum, the question here is the chicken and egg problem, right? So how did you, without cooperation from gfscarparts.com, because you haven't landed them as a customer yet, so without their cooperation, how do you get the first 100, 200, 300, 500 reviews? How did you get their customers? How did you know how to who to ask for the reviews?
We already ranked quite well for those pages. We found that if we got 2 or 3 reviews on a profile, the page would start to do really well. And we'd listen for people talking about GSF car parts or Euro car parts, and we'd go, hey, why don't you leave a review? You've had a great experience. Why don't you leave a review? And those people would leave those first couple of reviews, and that'd help that page rank. And then we'd be reaching out to that business. So if you wanted your rating to show up on your Google ads, gold stars next to your ads, you had to work with one of the Google Seller Ratings partners, and we were one of those partners. Now, originally there was only about 5 partners. Now I think there's about 20. Google Stellar Ratings license was super, super important in the early days.
I love this. Okay, so 2017 was 500,000 of revenue. 2018 you broke a million.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was gonna say, what year did you break 5 million of revenue? Do you remember?
No, it's all like the numbers to me. I never really focused. And this sounds crazy as a bootstrap founder, but I was so focused on the product and so focused on making. I'm a product person, so I was focused on making a really good product, and I thought the revenue was secondary to me.
I mean, the reason I ask the question is because we want to identify the growth tactics that really worked for you. So launching as a content and media business, for example, did not work for you. You then pivoted, and then you had success pretty rapidly. So let's talk more though about how you've sort of priced and planned these, because based off my understanding, you are not a high ACV commission structure sales motion. How many customers did you have when you exited, and what was the average price point?
I think it says 9,000 on there now. I think we probably had about 8,000 clients then. We were a low ACV business. We did everything. In those early days, I'm going to tell you, we did everything what you shouldn't do in a low ACV business. We got on the phones. I had
What?
salespeople on. Really on low, I mean, our plans now have gone up massively, but we were doing our probably biggest plan was like 149 plan. And we get on the phone for $29. We wouldn't just be pure play, product led. We'd actually get on the phone for $29 and talk to those people and build relationships.
I'm bringing up a chart because this is one of the things that we teach. I plot basically
Yeah,
everyone that's going on the
I've seen
podcast. I
it.
plot their ACV. Yeah, so like exactly where I'm going. There's a dead spot. It's very hard to build a $100 million company with a price point between 500 and like 5K per year. My question to you is, I totally get getting on the phone early on to learn, right? But if you take 9,000 customers, right, times 30-minute call each, divided by 60 minutes per hour, that's 4,500 hours if you're spending that with every customer. So just to be clear, do you still today get on a 30-minute call with every customer who signs up for $150 a month, or is that to learn in the early phases?
No, that's really just to learn in the early phases to get a true product market fit. You can't do that when you're at 9,000 points. I think these, now reviews only gets on the phone in the 299 plan or 499 plan. And even then, I think, a lot of that is already done at that stage, um,
Yep.
via the
So
product.
to
But
summarize so far what you've taught us, the media business didn't work. You pivoted to an SEO strategy where you recruited people talking about a company on Twitter to actually leave a review on a landing page you built for the company. That would then rank for SEO. Then you'd go close the company and the viral coefficient started. You also casually mentioned paid ads briefly. I want to understand, was that a big part of your growth or not? How much were you spending on paid ads?
I think we were doing $1,000 a day for the last couple of years. We were really targeting people who wanted Google seller ratings. That was our biggest win.
So just to be clear, if you were going to spend $500,000 that last year on ads, how much was on Google ads versus LinkedIn ads?
30% LinkedIn, the rest on Google. And I truly believe closest to the customer wins every single time. I had some big competitors in reviews, like well-financed, VC-backed companies that were backed to like hundreds of millions. But they weren't close to their customers. They weren't there listening to them. And I truly believe that we did well against them, against these well-funded companies, because we were listening to our clients and talking to our clients a lot more.
So, Callum, as we wrap up here, because I want to close the loop on this and then talk about your new business that you're building. But I do, for those wondering and saying, "Man, I want to build bootstrapped like Callum." It sounds like, and correct me if any of this is wrong, but to summarize, your order of operations was basically you started off with viral coefficient using Twitter to get reviews, which then started fueling your programmatic SEO strategy on the review pages. And once those were working, you moved down here and got pretty aggressive on LinkedIn ads and Google ads to the tune of about 500,000
Yeah,
clicks per year. Is that sort of the right order of operations?
exactly.
That's great. So you sell the business for $82 million cash. Just, any lessons, maybe just one lesson that you want to leave, the biggest mistake you made in your negotiations during the exit process?
My biggest mistake was probably being a bit too emotional, if I'm honest, and not doing enough research on the people who I sold to. The people who run the business now are great. We did have challenges after we sold, which were upsetting. That were upsetting, and I sold because I was in an emotional place where I shouldn't have sold probably.
What was upsetting post close?
Um, there was a couple of things. Yeah, so basically we closed and we were told by the people who purchased us, the private equity company, "Oh, we're very founder friendly. You're gonna still be in this seat, and this is what we're gonna do. And then, everything's gonna be under your control. There's nothing gonna change. Carry on running it, get it to 20 million." My aim, my dream was, to get this to 30 million, 40 million, and really get to the stage where we were a big, well-known global brand. I love the business. I love the people who are working on it. So pretty quickly, things changed. For instance, the press release about the deal. I didn't have any say on the press release. They did it via a paid wall platform, Axiom, um, and I didn't get to celebrate that win. There were certain things where I wish that things were done differently.
So there wasn't any part of the $82 million deal that you had to hit an earnout. It's not like you made less because the company screwed up once you sold it to them, right?
No, no, we there was an earn-out that quickly got changed into just a deferred payment, and that's all done now. We're paid out completely.
So total cash take home for you and your team again was that full 82 million bucks cash.
My biggest thing probably would be spend a bit more time researching who you're doing if you're selling, who you're selling to, what the promises are going forward. I'm not bitter, that probably sounds like I am, but I actually really like the team that's running reviews now, and it was probably, the company that purchased reviews was basically a roll up of Shopify apps, but reviews really wasn't a Shopify app. It wasn't that play. We had a much different playbook, and the people who were heading up that company at the time really didn't understand. They were really just trying to buy revenue. So I probably should have done more research on them. I don't believe they took enough time to learn what we was actually doing.
It's the common theme you see, right? A private equity firm gets behind a company. They say, Mr. Company or Mrs. Company, go buy a bunch of other companies. That's what a private equity firm is supposed to do. You will aim them because you need obviously your stuff. But it's like AppHub and Silversmith, right? So Silversmith puts 60 million bucks into AppHub. They say, AppHub, go do deals. They say, oh my gosh, Cal, we got to do deals. We'd love to buy your business. They didn't really do a lot of research. They're now doing their thing. You're now moving on. I want to give you, we have about 5 minutes left of recording time here, Calum. I want to give you some air to talk about what your son is going through because it's a very rare disease. Based off my research, less than 50 people in the world have it. It was a gay thing that drove your sales. So why don't we shine a light on that for a minute or two, and then let's wrap up with how you're thinking about your next business, Partner.io.
Yeah, my son's 9 now. He's got a super rare disease. We know a lot about it. I actually fund a research lab in Buffalo, and I'm, funding a lot of research, actually doing something with Harvard at the moment on mitochondrial transplants, which is amazing, amazing potential with that. And we've just got him access to a new drug, which is he's the first kid in the world to get access to this drug. Rare disease, life expectancy's very hit and miss. 50 kids, we lost about 10 during COVID. And after COVID coming out and being so close to those families who lost children, I was like, geez, I wanted to add some security to him. It's probably never going to work, so I wanted to add some security to him. I wanted to do more with more research. I wanted to fund some more research for him. And that was a big driver for doing the sale. I absolutely love the reviews business, and I loved working with my team. And if it wasn't, things happen for a reason, and maybe, it was the right time. Looking back, we'll look back through the lens of history, and it will go, wow, look at the timing there. But the timing really, I did the deal because of I wanted to add security to my family and, fund some research, try and get some cures for these kids. And we are doing it. It's great on that side. That side's really rewarding. I'm actually in the process of moving some mice from Buffalo to Harvard at the moment, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. The red tape involved is unbelievable, but truly rewarding. And I've learned a lot over the past couple of years in that area.
Well, we help you find a good solution, obviously, for your son, and he lives to be long and healthy and old age, just like you. But I think one of the lessons for founders listening to this is we're constantly told that your company has to be pursued, right, to get a good exit. You must be pursued by somebody, be the pretty girl on the street. You needed to get a deal done for a variety of reasons. Even though, this company was growing, you just told us your son's situation, you still were able to get and negotiate what I would consider a healthy multiple, 82 million cash on 12 million top line, which is about a 6.8, 7x multiple, right? So that's a good lesson for everybody. It is possible to drive, you lead a sale process and still get a good multiple. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You've got to drive that process. You've got to, the legals involved in doing a deal of that size was something I'd never seen.
All right, let's wrap up here on what you're focused on now.
At reviews, later on in the journey, one of our biggest drivers were partnerships. All tech partnership became a real big thing. Early on, we did nothing in partnerships. Towards the end, it was all partnerships. Like 40% of the rev was through partnerships. And it was a team that drove me mad because they had no systems in place. There was no accountability. The revenue was coming in, but I couldn't make it repeatable or grow it any further. It was a mess. So, when I left reviews, I thought, what am I going to do next? What was I used to journal the bits that were annoying me about the business, and partnerships frequently came up in my pad. That was the bit I challenged. I went, right, I'm going to build a better partner solution. We have a really good inbound motion. There's really good inbound technology. There's really good outbound technology, but partnership tech was a bit rubbish. I actually used 2 partner solutions. I won't name names at reviews, and both of them were garbage. I never even got one of them running properly, even though we spent $100,000 a year on it. So I wanted to build a complete partnership solution. And I went into it very naive. And I think that's maybe what tech founders do. They go into things naive and then they, have to figure it out. And that's what we're doing. I wouldn't say we've got true product market fit, even though we're doing okay revenue. We're at, about 69,000 MLR. But we've not got true product market fit there yet. We're still developing the product. And I've gone back to the old days. I'm on the phone listening to what our partners want. And I'm, trying to get that aha moments again. And that's really exciting. If you look at our marketing, I'm trying to these different marketing messages and tactics now to try and see what resonates. We're doing a lot of LinkedIn, going back to LinkedIn again. And yeah, it's really exciting. Got a great team. Bizarrely, some of the people who left reviews have joined me on this this journey. And when I mean they left prior to the sale. So my CTO, it was a great developer, and he was like, "Callum, I'm going to leave reviews." And I'm like, "Do not leave reviews. Do not leave this rocket ship." And he went, "No, I'm leaving. I've got a job offer in London." And I went, "Please don't." And he did leave. And obviously, then he didn't get any earn out. He didn't have that exit. So when I started Ponder, he went, "Whatever you're doing next, I want to be involved." So, we're really good friends, and he came back, and we're like doing that with a few people now. So there is a couple of people who I've worked with for a while.
So put all that at a clean sentence for me on partner.io so that when we interview you in a year and you tell us how much you've grown it, we can sort of look back at this. So you've gone from 0 to $70,000 a month in revenue with how many people on the team?
There's 9 people on the team at the moment.
And the main growth channel is LinkedIn ads.
LinkedIn ads, yeah.
How much are you spending a month on LinkedIn ads?
It's about $8,000 a month. Not a great deal.
Well, this is so eye-catching. Are you doing all this manually right now? You're just testing it all manually?
It's just me. It's just me and a Canva account. I'm just finding that hook. I'm just finding what resonates, what hooks, what converts. Double down, double down, double down.
All right, Callum. Well, as we wrap up here, people want to learn more about you online. Where's the best place they can find you?
LinkedIn. I'd spend most of my time on LinkedIn as a social platform. Do a bit on Twitter, but mainly LinkedIn.
Guys, there you have it. Callum launched reviews.io in 2014 and got his first users by using a viral coefficient. He would look on Twitter for people talking about a brand, get the Twitter users to leave a review on a programmatic landing page he built for the brand, and eventually tell the brand, hey, you got to pay us because we have all your reviews. That then led to a big programmatic SEO motion, blew his domain rating up on Ahrefs to above 80, organic traffic over 200,000 clicks per month. And then he said, okay, this machine is working. Let me pour paid ads on the funnel. About $500,000 a year spent on ads in 2022, of which 30% were LinkedIn, the rest were Google ads. Ultimately built that business to over 8,000, 9,000 paying customers and $12 million bucks of revenue bootstrapped before selling in 2022 to a roll-up group called AppHub for about $82 million, all cash. He's now building partner.io. If you want to check it out, you can find him online at partner.io. Callum, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks, Nick.